Egypt's been in the middle of turmoil for several years now, and Morsi was taken out. They put in the military, and the fighting is around going more toward like a free secular society, or going towards a more Islamic conservative based society. And there's a movement or an organization behind it called the Muslim Brotherhood. So, I was wondering how much of the news coming out in the mainstream media was smoke and mirrors and propaganda. Because I had heard from a contact in Egypt directly saying that it's calm, there's nothing going on, we're just stable over here. And a lot of this stuff that you see is theatrical. It's like they're putting it on. They're staging these photo ops, photo opportunity, to make it look like a protest. But now this news comes out that one of the high courts, not their highest Supreme Court, but one of the circuit courts, has handed a death sentence to 528 or 529, depending on what source you're looking at. That's a lot, though. Death sentence for 529. What did they do? So, looks like it's all centered around the killing of one policeman. How's that for imbalance of justice? How's that for, I guess they really love that policeman. And he must have been really strong because it took 529 people to kill him. So the analysis of this is showing that it was a kangaroo court. A lot of times Egypt will pronounce death sentences and not carry it out. So this is anybody's guess. I'm not sure. I'm not an expert in it, but I've been there. I will continue to go there to that region. I find the culture there fascinating. The land I love. I think it's very ancient. Yet it's so much turmoil, but there's potential. Enormous potential. Do I think that the society should become more like freedom-oriented, like the West or the EU? No. I think they need to get back to traditional values, very strict law, Sharia law. I think that that's what's appropriate for Egypt. And I think it should be mostly enforced wherever they need it. Maybe in the sophisticated, high-tech developed areas of the city, like CAIRO, they don't need to apply it because the people are, highly educated. The people have a lot of money. They don't behave like that. But I can tell you that there are many outlying regions, the poor areas of Egypt, where the crime is pretty severe. I could say that about Brazil. I could say that about India. I could say that about parts of London. So you need to have harsh laws to apply to that, but you also need to have controls on the government and law enforcement who are going to be using these laws against the people. So that's also what you would need to see. But looks like they're going to this more liberal stance, and yet, to contradict that, they're making all these death sentences. So how do you become this liberal, freedom-loving, secular society, and yet you're going to be killing anybody who's against it, instead of the humanitarian way of putting them in prison for life. So it's definitely a place that's in a lot of confusion.